All right, ladies and gents, welcome back. Here's another video tutorial about my track Am I Dreaming? As we have the remix competition going on, I figured it will be cool to show a video of how I did the breakdown, focus on some melodic elements, including the strings, my use of Arcus by Native Instruments with Contact, and some cool effects and ways to be creative with just plain leads, which is what I'm going to show you in the drop lead. There are a million ways to manipulate and make a really simple digital sound very organic. So let's get going. I'm going to start going through the layers one by one and explain what I did. First of all, we're just going to play a little loop of the breakdown and then follow from there. So this is pretty much the breakdown. You know, if you know the track, you probably heard it for a while now. So I'm going to go through some stuff and explain what I did. And hopefully that will be useful for you, especially if you're participating in the remix competition. I think that might give you some more ideas or inspire you to go on a different approach. So let's get going. So let's go through the elements one by one and see what we're working with. So the first element is going to be Arcus, which is a contact library by Native Instruments, which I really like. And I think it's a very simple and straightforward library to get really cinematic soundscapes and melodies and whatnot going, instead of using really heavy contact libraries that will overload your CPU. So I think this is a great approach, very quick, and it's sounding really good. There's a lot of cool options there when it comes to layer blending, and yeah, you can get really creative with this plugin, and I think it's one of my favorites for layering and breakdowns and drops and everything melodic, really. So here we go. So this is like the main theme of the song. So we have those strings playing, and there's a lot of automation going on here. So I'm gonna go through that and show you what I did when it comes to automations. I basically wanted those strings to kind of move, you know, and have a lot of and just have a lot of movement, make it really organic sounding, and not too plain, we should say. So strings are right here. We start from, you know, the regular melody, then obviously we have another 2 layers here, 2 and 3. And those get a different notes every time. This added harmonics. Oh, sorry, added harmony when it comes to notes. We have a little change at the end here. And then more top layers. But as you can hear, the whole pad is just moving constantly. And yeah, so as you can see, first of all, don't mind the mess in this project. That project there was a lot of ideas for that track. And I've been going through so many ideas that organizing the project was not one of them, because I was so inspired and I was so in the moment that I didn't really care about how the project is organized as long as I understood it. So as you can see, we have the layer blend automation here. We have the effects blend, which are 2 parameters in Arcus. And we have the volume automation. So I'll show you the elements and what it's doing pretty much. This is Arcus. Incredible plugin by Orchestral Tools and Native Instruments. Basically, I took a preset and kind of modified it. It's just easier. It was a lot easier to write the melody this way using a preset. There's nothing wrong with that. You process it and how you make it sound, and yeah, so let's see what happens to those 2 in this instance. So as you can see, I was blending the layers right here with the yellow ring. Then the effects blend, which is all the effects, is coming in, and obviously you can edit all the effects here. You have distortion, some flanging, some convolution, which always helps to give space. So yeah, those are the strings. I suggest you to check Arcus or pretty much everything from Orchestral Tools. If you have Complete 13, you should have it there. It's just incredible. Let's go to the next layer. Let's see what we have here. We have a little grand piano loop that I think I used it before in a bunch of other productions, but it's just a simple loop that I found, and I think it sounds very cinematic. It sounds very, I don't know, it works. It just works for me. Yeah, so it's just this loop. Very airy. So this is the channel strip. Dub Station 2 Pro R and Pro Q2 not doing much. Dub Station for delay, and Pro R for reverb. So let's hear the progression of this. I think it's pretty much just a volume automation. Yeah, that's all it is. Just one loop repeating itself. But of course, when you have delay and reverb, stuff is automatically being more moving and has more motion. What else do we have here? So we have just the splash effects, nothing crazy. Wait, mute everything. Just, the same old splash effects just to introduce the breakdown. We have a sub hit. Again, nothing special, but playing it safe. Okay. In the second half of the breakdown, we have some cinematic loops playing. here. It's just... I think it's Cashmere, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's Cashmere stuff. And we just filter, Camel Crusher, Reverb 2 from Fruity Loops, and Transient Master just to emphasize. Just a simple loop, but you know, it's in the background of the track, it's basically a rumble, so you can't really hear all the tops and all the stuff that's going on here. So it worked, you know, I wasn't really overthinking that part. Let's see what else do we have here. So we have this Zebra lead, which I really, really love. I think it's this. So yeah, I named it Trans Zimmer because it just felt very cinematic, you know, to the theme of the track. When it's blending in with everything, with all the elements, it kind of sounds like a cinematic horn. And I was aiming for a lot of cinematic elements here, so it just worked. But as you can hear, the initial sound is just a simple sawtooth with reverb and some glide and portamento. Nothing too crazy, but it just blended in very well. So So, you know, it works. It's really nice in the background. Kind of like works with all the strings and everything. Then we have, what else do we have here? So we have a little flange noise just to kind of give it some bounce. Going up in volume. Nothing crazy. Now we have I added a fizz. So a fizz meaning that I felt like the Arcus strings were really good, but they were missing some stringy sound. So what I did is I opened Harmor and I just loaded a really simple one of the presets, a pad preset, and pretty much I just used it to do like really thin and, you know, high notes to complement the main pad. So it sounds like this. So as you can see, it sounds very stringy, like it has some kind of a stringy sound to it. So it worked well with the, you know, the more like low register strings. And then of course we have the Arcus introduction break, which is basically just a sustaining one note to kind of hint that the melody is approaching. I think I also did some automation here. Yeah, as you can see, I did the effects blend automation and the layer blend just to kind of give it a swell, and then it starts. We have this, and then we have the Vox manipulator is basically, I took the vocal sample and just pretty much did some automations for it. It's nothing too crazy, but manipulator is a great tool for doing harmonies that might not sound too vocoded if you're using it right. Yeah, if you're doing it the right way and it's not like overdone. So let's go to the vocal. So vocal. Yeah, this project is a mess, so it's really hard to sometimes navigate between stuff. There's a lot going on, so. So yeah, pretty much the manipulator is playing those MIDI clips you can see here, playing the main melody of the break, but just as a vocoder. Let me see if I can isolate that layer. No, it's not this one. Yeah, that's the harmony. Then of course the melody, as the melody changes and chords change, the vocal reacts the same. Sounds very robotic, but when you listen to it in context with all the vocal layers, it sounds pretty okay. So yeah, that's the vocal part. Nothing crazy, just a loop, a vocal sample that I had here. I think I recorded it like long time ago, and I just kind of stumbled across it. Let's see what else. God, what a mess. So we have more stuff coming in here. I think the sub is also implemented into this layer. I have a sub pad here. So, yeah. So Harmer is here doing the fizz. Then I have just a sub, nothing crazy. You know, just a Reese. Same Reese I always use in my breakdowns. I think, you know, if it works, it works. Yeah, and then Arcus, of course. And this choir layer that I don't know. I think it's just a direct wave sample, which is basically it's just one note. But because when you start playing a melody using a one note sample and putting it in loop mode, you can get really interesting results, like even something more very granular almost. But see, like it has some artifacts in it because of the sample. So it's cool, you know, it's just take samples and then play them. It's fun. I personally got a lot of cool results from just doing that. So the sub is here. Everything is implemented in this MIDI clip. You know, in theory, the breakdown is very, very simple. It starts getting more complicated as the drop approaching. Let's see that I didn't forget anything. Yeah, okay, didn't forget anything. All right, let's go to the lead sound and the drop. So we have the lead sound and pretty much the whole pre-drop part, and I'm gonna go through the parts. We have like some kind of a sustaining pad here. Really cool, you know, mysterious kind of sound. I think I took it from a hip hop pack. I'm not sure. It sounds like something that you will put in a hip hop song in the background. Then we have another drone. You know, just nothing crazy, but it's just, I love atmosphere, so I use a lot of atmospheric parts. And then because we have the lead sound coming in and we need to complement it with something gentle that will hint the chords. I just added like this simple saw pad to give it some body. Very, very simple. So you know this kind of goes in the background of the lead. Let's go to the actual lead sound and what I did here. So if I go to the lead sound, we have a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of stuff. So basically it consists of 3 serums. Now we have the vocal chops. And we have the bass horns, which also serum. But basically what makes this lead move so much is the effects bus. Because if I play it with no effects, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's extremely simple sound with a bit of detuning. And it's not, it's nothing. I wouldn't say I'm proud of it, but there's a lot of routing and stuff going on here. Yeah, it's like, see, as you can see, it's endless. So as you can see, the lead kind of ducks in between the vocal chops. So the vocal chops will have some space. So we have, this is the bus for the main lead and the movement. As you can see, I have 2 stutter edits here from my good friend BT. And what happens here is we have those MIDI clips, stutter trigger 2 and stutter trigger 3. And it's basically just MIDI notes to trigger the plugin at specific points to play an effect, to affect obviously the track, the lead, sorry. So we have this, and while I'm playing the lead sound, you'll see that this keeps changing according to MIDI. I think you can see a demonstration of it here. Yeah, so you have the keyboard and you have banks here, and every note on the keyboard is a different effect. I mean, it's labeled right next to the key. So if I start playing the lead, so as you can see, what I like about this plugin as well is that you can get really in-depth into every preset here and change it the way you want it. So I think I did some changes here. I don't remember. It's been a while since I opened this project. Yeah, that's a really great plugin if you want to get creative. Let's see what else. I think I have some automations going on here as well with Shimmer. Yeah, so it's just a dry wet automation here, the parallel. Yeah, and then I have Valhalla Supermassive as well. They're both like reverbs, so I just kind of automated them to duck while the vocal is playing. So if we have the vocal, so now I want to go through the actual heavy brass sound that we have in the drop. There's some cool stuff here. There's 2 serums, nothing crazy. I called it battle horns because they just sound very aggressive to me. This is the mix bus for that. There's SPL Transient Designer Plus, probably doing some side chaining. Yeah, side chaining and basically pushing some transients. So those brass stabs are actually like, cutting through. We have some Camel Crusher, not doing much. Supermassive, love that plugin. Some weird EQ. And then we have like filtered EQ. It's probably for the pre-draw part. No, that EQ is not doing much. I think it's maybe doing something in the drop. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So this turns on in the drop and probably cutting the low end, so the sub has some room. But yeah, let's go through the ones in the drop. So yeah, majority of it is what giving it the push. I think it's Camel Crusher and SPL Transient Designer Plus from Plugin Alliance. In a combo, it's like, you know, they're smashing each other basically, and the transients are just pretty much, you can say, dying, but in a way it creates a really compressed and aggressive sound. And we top it off with API 2500 from UAD, just to kind of polish it off and glue it. Yeah, that's pretty much the mix bus for that. And now let's go through the sounds. We have one layer that's doing this. Just a simple sawtooth. 2 saws, detuned, nothing crazy. But again, this is like, if you listen to this without effects, you'll see what I'm talking about. Very boring sound. But once you turn everything on, it makes more sense. Then the second layer, same thing, just on a different key. The only reason I opened another instance is because I wanted to have separation, and I think both of them are gliding in mono, so they're going to clash if I put them in the same instance. So you can get a really brassy sound. But what really makes this sound brassy is that laser battle horn sample. It's like proper brass. And as you can see, those notes are very they're very spacious. Like they're very spacey, and they're not like, there's not a lot going on. They're just sustaining and stopping. So to glue all of those together, I felt like the bass line should be more interesting than just, you know, doing one notes. I just did this, I have this 3X oscillator sawtooth. Just been doing like more like, you know, like just kind of like connecting the notes, so we have it in context like this. So yeah, you know, just 2 saws with 2 octaves kind of being used as a bridge between the bass lines. Nothing crazy. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, so majority of the break of the drop is just it's just how big and how full the lead layer is, which creates all the space and fullness. So yeah, it's pretty much a lot of bus processing and a lot of yeah, I think it's just a lot of processing, because the sounds themselves are pretty simple. Like if I play them just like that, you'll see. Gotta turn off more things here. Like I said, I have to apologize for this project being a complete mess. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens when you have tons of ideas and you don't know how to properly execute them using, you know, being organized. So 52, 53. Okay, I'm just writing this down. 52, 53, and 56. So the main, I think, mix bus is right here. Okay, yeah. That's the one. Oh, okay, I think it's muted. No. Yeah, see, there's so much stuff going on. Okay, so I have Okay, so I have more stuff here. Yeah. That's pretty much the sound with nothing. I mean, even the original sound, you know, the initial one is pretty good. I did some stuff in Serum in order to get it to act this way. I think there's a bunch of automations, you know, nothing crazy. I think it's the LFO affecting the fine level, which gives it this like lo-fi sound. And yeah, we have distortion, asymmetrical distortion, reverb and compression, which makes that lead already sounding good from the get-go. And now the rest is just how we can get creative with that. So yeah. That's pretty much it for the lead sound. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, which I'm not going to go through in depth, but just showing you that there's a lot of ways to get creative, and with the right use and a gentle use of effects, you can get really cool results. Even if you have to send and route stuff to different channels, it can be very, very helpful. Sub bass, I think, is just the main bass just rolling. Okay, so in the sub bass section, what I did is I basically took the same bass we have in the intro, and I just kind of modified it. But yeah, everything here is pretty much just Harmer for the low end. Yeah, so the bass have some swing on it. Then we have the sub from Harmless. Nothing crazy. You know, just a sawtooth because it has more color. Shaper box 2, doing some sidechain, some EQ, nothing really crazy. And the plucky bass, I think I have a bunch of stuff on it. I'm not sure. Oh, it's Transient Master and EQ. Nothing crazy. And I think it's being sent to a main bus. Another EQ. Wave Shaper. Oh, Soundgoodizer? What? I use Soundgoodizer here. Okay. Yeah, I think Soundgoodizer is pretty much doing all the heavy lifting here because it has some kind of a, I don't know, it has some interesting sound. Like without it, yeah, it just sounds very, very thin, very high passed. But then I think it adds some meat to it with all the effects here. Yeah. Wave shaping, then going through OTT, and then another reverb, then Valhalla, Supermassive for some space, then Soundgoodizer, then Transient Master to tame down some meat. But yeah, this is pretty much it, I think, for today's video. I hope that this was a bit helpful. This is actually considered a very simple track in my aspects. So I think sometimes, you know, less is more. In this case, it's all about sound selection and what works. But it's also important, I think, to have a vision and most importantly, to just enjoy what you do. And there are no rules. As you can see, I'm a mess. My project is a mess, and I don't really follow any rules. I just kind of do what I know. So my name is Maor Levy, and thank you for watching. And hopefully that was very helpful to you. And see you soon.